Another week in the books. Reminder that all content warnings are on my website with the longer write-up. First off this week, I finished off Black Maria by local author Christine Boyer. As I said last week, while I always love a good mystery, I tend not to pick up a lot of books that are centered on the cops trying to solve mysteries. And at the start of this book, I was worried about how male-dominated the first few chapters were and if I was gonna like it, because reading too many homogenous voices can start to feel like a slog very quickly. I was very pleasantly surprised. Not only is there a little bit more variety between the characters' personalities, even the ones who look very similar on the surface, but we also have a couple very strong female characters coming out later in the book. I love the banter. I love the twists and turns. Even when the tropes that I don't usually like in police procedurals popped up, I had a lot more fun with them than I usually do. For example, things like office politics didn't slow down the pacing. I had a lot of fun with it because it provided a lot of new twists, turns, and challenges. While this hasn't changed my opinion of the subgenre as a whole, I will definitely be picking up any future books by Christine Boyer. While she doesn't have any other novels just yet, this is a debut novel that came out in October of last year. She does have a lot of short stories and poetry on her website, which I have linked. My second book of the week was A Court of Blood and Bindings. This is book 1 of the Fae Isles series. The author actually gifted me books 1 through 4, and I'm going to be reading all 4 of them before March 31st to celebrate the release of the digital box set. I really had a lot of fun with this one. You can tell how much fun the author had as well when she was doing the world building. She's fleshed out entire governments, cities, communities, and how they all work together and against each other incredibly well. And I know I've said this a lot lately, but this is another book where I fell in love with the magic system. And while Brandon Sanderson's work has been sitting in my physical TBR pile for a little while now, this is the first time I've actually gotten to read any color magic, and I had as much fun with it as I expected to. In this first novel, our female main character is really learning about her powers and how to use them and going through the beginnings of training. So we really get a deep dive into how all of it works, and it's really well thought out. She's gotten extremely detailed with it, but in a way that doesn't slow the story down, thankfully. And while I would have liked to see a greater variety of natural skin tones in here, we do have really great nonverbal representation in here. The male main character communicates primarily through written word and sign language because he does not speak at all. We also have phenomenal backstories on several of the characters, an incredible villain that's very well sculpted. We have one of my favorite character archetypes making an appearance, which is the immortal soul in a child's body. And because of online discourse I have seen about the novels, I do know that there is an upcoming sapphic turn, although I do not know yet which book. If it's the 2 characters that I'm expecting, I'm very excited for it because the author has done yearning in a forced proximity setting unbelievably well in this first book, and the 2 characters I'm expecting are very much separated right now. I'll be getting to the second book this week upcoming, and I'm very excited. And then my third book of the week was The Myth of Progress. This came out almost 20 years ago now, and when I was reading the introduction, there were a couple very outdated statistics cited, but thankfully it didn't make the book obsolete. Honestly, although some of these problems are much bigger today, it's still the same root causes, it's still the same steps that we can take towards solutions. When I finished the book, I did have a sense of impending danger, but there was also a very deep optimism there as well that was incredibly inspiring. As you can see, this is a very small book. It was a very quick read. I got through it in a matter of hours. There are a lot more texts that do get a lot deeper into the subject and go into a lot more detail, both in terms of the ecology and the economy, looking at them as complex systems that are deeply intertwined in ways that we don't always expect. And a lot of those works are cited in here as well. There's a great list of references in the back that you can check out for further reading, but this is a phenomenal way to build up the foundations of your understanding of the subjects and how they meet. And as always, there is a longer write-up of all this available on my website at writing.hallidaynelson.com. I want to know what you are reading too, and if you're having fun with it, so I can add it to my ever-expanding TBR list. And of course, happy reading!